Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the QKZ X HBB. This is the latest collaboration from HBB, this time with QKZ, a company that has had its issues in the past. The main one being its lack of quality control. The famous VK4, which is an IM that kind of set itself as a really nicely tuned IM in the sub $20 market many years ago. Was an IM that it was a shot in the dark. You either got a good one or you got a bad one. I went through 6 sets before actually finding one that was exactly what was it supposed to be. So the subsequent VK4 was a nightmare, and basically, look, QKZ is a brand that doesn't really spend much time in wanting to tune things properly. They just throw in some shells. There's a lot of similarity to products from KZ and the CCA, and that's been shrouded with a cloud of issues. Some say that QKZ is a subsidiary of KZ. KZ on the other hand says that it has nothing to do with QKZ. Well, it's a mess. What's important is that QKZ is seemingly trying to do good, and they partnered up with one of the most reputable people in the market right now, HBB. Excuse me. And that's a guarantee that at least something well tuned is going to be coming, or it's going to be presented. And obviously HBB doesn't want his name associated with a company that's not going to do good by it. So yeah, they partnered up and they did this IM, which is, in my opinion, based on the QKZ model, the Zeus. I've actually got one over here to show you. Okay, this is the Zeus, and as you can see, it's exactly the same. It's the same IM, same shell, with the lip here on the side to assist in the holding. Faceplate, design of the faceplate, everything is exactly the same. The differences are only the lip of the stock Zeus doesn't have these grooves, which are just for the sake of helping maintain the tip more secure, as you can see there. All right, and apparently the driver is not the same, but I cannot confirm nor deny. I just can't confirm it. They look the same. I looked at them and they look exactly the same. Anyway, the truth is this: the QKZ, the Zeus, is a nightmare in terms of its sound. It's not the worst, but also nothing special. Mid bass, boomy, peaky all over the place. It's really not a nice IM, and for that reason I retuned it, and retuned as it is over here now I can listen to it. Now I can say, okay, fine, this actually plays half decent, and I just don't understand why they don't go to the trouble of doing things just a little bit well, just a little bit. Anyway, it's not my problem, it's their problem. On to the actual Zeus HBB, let's call it that way. Nice IM, nice build quality, beautiful faceplates. I mean, at this price range, I don't recall seeing an IM that can be nicer. Period. There isn't really nice. The only ones that are even remotely half decent in terms of their appearance are some products from KZ. I mean. The Lyra, it doesn't look bad, just the faceplate looks a little bit cheap. The EDA just looks cheap. The EDX-Ultra, I mean, the shell itself, the body is fine, it's the faceplate just looks tacky. The ES6, the shell, the faceplate looks nice, not bad actually. It's actually not bad. Anyway. That's what it is. In terms of fit, like I said, it fits perfectly, isolates perfectly. I used, for the sake of this comparison, these blue tips here from PQEYZ, which basically yielded the same results as the 07s that I usually use. But for the graphs, which I'll show you afterwards, I used always the 07s so that I could maintain some consistency, all right, and so that it just made sense. But the difference is the difference between this and the 07 is not even, no, hardly anything, honestly. What can I say about the sound? It's very simple. It's a fun signature, period. You know, it is what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. It's got the typical basic formula of HBB, which is a nice bass, both sub bass and mid bass are nicely emphasized, and then the transition into the mids is well done. Plateaus right across the whole mids, upper mids, in presence area, and then drops off slightly, and then, you know, some extension past 10k. You could call it kind of a boosted harmonish kind of signature. Yeah, I guess you could. But it's fun, and that's the main thing. The signature is supposed to be fun. It's by no means a technical monster. No, it isn't. And basically all of that is down to the fact that the bass, being as strong as it is, it kind of overpowers the rest. And on the topic of the bass, and contrary to what perhaps was said, that you know, this was a bass monster and so on and so forth. Yes, it is a bass monster. It does have plenty of bass, but it doesn't have more bass than, for example, the EDA, the bass version. It doesn't have more bass than the ESX, and I mean, it just slightly edges out in overall quantity the EDX-Ultra and the EDA balanced. So in terms of the bass, it's got plenty bass, but it's the fact that the signature past 1k has been tamed down that then overemphasizes or can give you the perception of you having excessive amounts of bass, which is something that on these KZ IEMs that I have here, that's been done in a different manner. Anyway, as I said, in terms of sound, it's fun, it's great, it's got very nice bass. You know, if you like listening to some EDM, some hip hop, perfect. This is not the IM if you want to listen to a lot of vocal centric stuff. Although having said that, I was actually quite surprised that it didn't do a bad job of reproducing some of the songs that I enjoy listening to. You know, Euphoria, Jeff Bradshaw, Allwood Envy from Chris Botti, Papa Was a Rolling Stone from Lee Ratenoir. It did a fine. It reproduced it decently. I mean, I really can't. Oh no, it was bad. No, that's wrong. It plays really nice. How does it stack up then to the KZs? And I could have added many more IEMs here, but this is a signature or is a sound that emulates more these ones here, so it made sense that I would compare it with these. There are obviously other irons I could have also gotten out and put on, you know, put here to compare, but they are already at a higher price range. I mean, all of these are within that $20 give or take bracket. The EDA balanced, obviously, when you buy it, you have to buy as a pack. The EDA series, sorry, you have to buy it as a pack of 3. But individually they all work out around $15 each. The balanced you can buy it outright, and yeah, I've already seen it at $15. The Ultra is $20. The ESX, I've seen it at $23, $24. The Lyra, I've seen it about the same thing. So all within more or less the $20 range here. Compared to the EDA balanced. The ADA balanced sounds, because it's got slightly less bass and it's got a little bit more energy, 3, 4, 5k, it sounds slightly more detailed than the HBB. Not a huge difference. I mean, just slightly. The bass here as well, I found it to be slightly quicker because it's not as prominent. So I wouldn't say it's a win, but it's basically the same thing, you know. Okay. As compared to its bass version, the bass version is exactly the same as the HBB, with the benefit that because it's got again a little bit more energy, it actually is able to just sometimes edge out a few more details here and there. Nothing tremendous, but it's I mean, in terms of the bass, it's exactly the same amount of bass, no difference, trust me. Compared to the EDX-Ultra, the EDX-Ultra is better. it's got way more extension up top, and that effect has got more extension up top. It just conveys and brings to the whole presentation different dynamics. There starts being hints of proper technicalities on the Ultra, which over there are just basic, nothing to write home about. So the EDX-Ultra, in my opinion, is a better IEM than the HBB. The ESX reverts back to all about the bass, but up top it's inferior to the HBB. The HBB is a better IEM. Like I said, this driver used in here, the 12mm driver, is a very nice driver, and I'm actually curious to see this driver, being part of a hybrid system. This driver in a hybrid system, so that you can let it truly shine. I think this thing will rock. It will really rock. It's a driver with a lot of potential, just not as a full range application. With the Lyra, it's the exact opposite of the SX, in that it's bass light as compared to that there. So the mids, vocals, and so on and so forth, much more open than the HBB. So again, it's not a win, it's not a loss. It's what you prefer ultimately. This kind of falls into the same category as the EDA balanced, in that it's what you want. There's more detail here. There's a little, but at the cost as well of sometimes it's being almost borderline aggressive, almost borderline harsh, which is something that never happens in the HBB. With that regards, the HBB is I didn't find it to be sibilant, nothing. It's been really well done in that aspect. It's not a fatiguing IM with regards to that part of the spectrum. So all in all, the Ultra is a better IM, and I could have compared it as well to the CRA Plus, and I would say that the CRA Plus as well kind of falls within the category of the Lyra and the EDA balanced. Even the EDA bass, it falls within that category there of IMs, which are almost the same. They edge out here or there, but they trade blows. The one that, in my opinion, doesn't trade blows and is just overall better, and it's just my opinion with what I listen to, is the EDX-Ultra. And that's that, guys. I mean, it's a simple review, nothing really too complicated. It's an IM that I will recommend. If you don't have any of these, yes, it makes sense to go for this. If you do have an Ultra or an EDA, or I really don't think it's okay, fine, it's $20. It's not going to break the bank. I guess you could buy it just for the sake of buying it, and support the company, support HBB, and I'm all for that. But if you're counting your money, and $20 is a lot of money for some people, then it's one of those things that if you have any of these IEMs, yeah, you're already very well. You're well off. So it's not going to bring anything which is just like, okay, it makes sense. It's one of these IEM, two of these IEMs I've actually modified to counteract a little bit of their not deficiencies, is the way they were done. And the Lyra I've retuned, and I've also retuned the ESX, and both of them in their retuned formats are pretty amazing in my opinion. The Lyra retuned, I've just brought down the mids and upper mids slightly, and conveyed a slightly different curve to the bass, and making it more reminiscent of the bass of the original CRA. And the driver, the XUD driver here, oh, wow, I mean seriously, wow, nice. Over there, I've done the exact opposite. I've tamed down the bass so that it matches more adequately with the rest of the spectrum, and again it makes the whole IEM just come alive in a different manner. I think that is a more balanced out full range application of that particular driver. But as I said, this driver here would make sense in a hybrid, and who knows, maybe we will see. I mean, it started off with the ZES. The ESX was a definite improvement, so perhaps we will see another 12mm driver from KZ that is an improvement over this one, and who knows, KZ is always full of surprises. Anyway guys, that's that. I'll quickly show you the graph so you can have an idea, and yeah, take care, see you, bye bye. Hi guys, well, this is the graph section of the HBB ZEUS, or the QKZ X HBB ZEUS. As you can see, like I mentioned on the review, big emphasis on the sub bass, bass as well, a little bit of a bleed into the mids, but nothing too dramatic. And then this whole area has just been kept very down. I mean, it's nice, it's got a nice plateau to it, it's got a nice linearity to it, but it's been kept down, and the fact that it's been kept down does then give the idea that this is perhaps a bass monster. But when, for example, I take the KZ EDA, well, actually, let me put the graph of the 07 of the ZEUS, but using the 07 tips, which is this one here. Okay, that's the graph using the 07 tip as opposed to the stock tips. Sorry, the BQEYZ tips. So this is the graph of the HBB, XHBB ZEUS using the 07 tip, yellow, and as you can see, compared to what I just showed you, it just gives it actually a little bit more energy up top, which is welcomed, let's put it that way. Anyway, that's the graph of the HBB, and now here, this one, which I'm just going to quickly align, is the graph of the EDA balanced. And as you can see, apart from this peak here, this is coupler related, apart from this peak here at 5K, the rest is very much similar. And yes, there is an extra 2 dBs more or less of bass, but not really something that you perceive very easily. Depending on what you're listening to, you will not really perceive it very easily. The next one that I'm going to show you is the ESX. Okay, so let's take away that one and put the ESX now, and just align it. There you go. And as you can see again, the bass is very similar, and actually the bass is the same because the ESX is using a 12mm driver, so although graphically it looks like it's got a little bit less bass than the HBB, it doesn't, it actually has more bass. But then this whole section here is not done in a nice manner. It's just, so I give the win to the HBB overall. The next one that I'm going to be showing you, next graph that I'm going to be showing you is of the Lyra. And the Lyra, as you can see, yes, again, another, 2 dB less. I mean, if I take, for example, the balance, as you can see, the balanced, the EDA balanced and the Lyra have got basically the same bass. The difference is in this energy here, although they very much have the same kind of graph. So the Lyra definitely has more energy, and it's noticeable. This relation between bass and highs, it's more favorable on the high end for the Lyra as opposed to on the HBB being more favorable on the low end. So it conveys a brighter sound, more details, more everything, and a perception of less bass. Okay, as compared now to this one is the EDA, the bass version, and as you can see, the EDA bass version is almost spot on. Bass is the same thing. Over here is, I mean, I consider this the same basically. Coupler related, energy past 10K the same. The only difference is this 5K here, which honestly I couldn't really see the difference. I really couldn't. With what I was listening to and hearing, I couldn't distinguish one to the other. If anything, I actually was giving it a slight edge to the bass version of the EDA. And then finally, this is yes, this is the EDX-Ultra, and I'm just putting it properly. And this for me is the one that I think is overall just superior to the HBB. It's got 2 dBs here less, which is not noticeable honestly. And then it's got the same kind of bass, again a little bit extra there, a little bit extra there. that's more or less same, but it's got that extra detail up top there, and overall the whole balance of it is just more more evened out. If I have to, like, for example, just put this here so you can see, we start at 82 dBs, let's say. We reach the maximum of 94 on the bass, and we reach the maximum of 89 on the treble of the HBB. On the EDX-Ultra, we start at 82, we reach a maximum of 92, and it's basically the same thing. It's 91 on the treble. More balanced, more equilibrium of the spectrum. It just sounds overall better, more detail, more everything. And that's it, guys. Like I said, I would get it. If you don't have anything, get it. It's a beautiful shell. Well, I mean, it really looks the business. If you have the Ultra, it doesn't make sense. If you have the Lyra as well, perhaps it doesn't make sense. And yeah, that's it. Any other questions you guys might have, please feel free to ask. All right. As always, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.